I talk and do talks monthly or almost monthly, and every single time I do a talk, I really do feel like it's the most important talk that I've ever done. I'm going to tell you again, I think this one probably is the most important one I've ever done. First of all, because there's something that's never happened to you since you've been alive. You've never been alive that for 8 months you've had people slathering down with antiseptics, hand sanitizers, surfaces of everything, masks, people around you like foggers. I actually had a lady working at a cubicle, and her cubicle neighbor keeps setting off this little air fogger thing that's like bleach spray or something. And so it's like, you've never had this before. But the reason we're doing this talk is because since February, we do testing. I'll talk about some of the testing tonight. But we do testing where we test your everything. It's metabolics testing, but it also tests the gut, the health of the gut through what's going on. If there's dysbiosis, what's going on, like an imbalance in the bacteria. And since February, for the first time in my life in 23 years, I've never seen something as clinically significant as this in testing. Nothing. And guess what you're seeing? Everybody's microbiome is doing this. It's going down. Their toxicity levels are going up. Their oxidative stress is going through the roof. And these are people who are doing good things. They're not eating McDonald's. They're taking the supplements. They're doing these things. In fact, I'm going to show you my wife's. Anybody would like to get like see some serious herb transparency? I'm going to show you my wife's test results tonight. She said I could, so I'm not getting in trouble. But I'm going to show you why this talk was instigated. Here's the other thing. When you leave today, you're going to leave with a plan, and every single person here is going to get what you need to be into the fall and doing well. Let me tell you another reason. As we've seen the microbiome going down, basically people's immune systems go down with that. Make sense? And so as that immune system goes down, it doesn't mean you have symptoms of gut issues. It doesn't mean you have diarrhea, doesn't mean you have constipation, doesn't mean you have bloating or cramping. It means that your gut is not as healthy, but there's no symptoms necessarily. If that's the case, it means your immune system's going down, but there doesn't have to be symptoms for that either. And what that means is the fall is coming when it's cold and flu season, and you have people that don't have any symptoms that are like, oh no, it's pretty good, it's pretty good. It's like walking on train tracks with headphones on, going the wrong way, the train's coming from behind you, you're like, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, and bam, it mows you over. I don't mean to be overly emotional about this, and I don't mean to preach death or destruction, but let me tell you something that I do know. I know a lot about health. I've been doing this for 23 years. I've seen 34,000 patients in 23 years, and I know this. From what I've seen so far this year, if all indications are true, and I believe they are, we're in for the worst cold and flu season that we've ever seen in our lifetimes. And I had a family last week that was thinking, they were like, well, it's going to be an okay cold and flu season because we've killed all the germs. We've actually washed our hands so many times. But it's actually the opposite of that. And you're going to have people that you never expected to get hit by this thing that's going to be really radical. And here's the thing. The reason that's so important for you to be here tonight is because I want you not to get caught off guard. Can I get an amen from somebody? Amen. So what it's going to take is, guys, if you're guests, they're going to begin with getting you a test in the office. Guests, I've got a gift for you. It's a $230 gift, and all it costs you $50. Got it? Is that nice? Amen? But to get it, you got to make sure you sign up tonight. So guests, do not leave without getting your gift. Got it? It's an exam and x-rays. Doesn't cost you a thing, but it begins your journey with us so we can really fine-tune exactly what's going on with you, because does anybody need the same thing in this room? Nobody needs the same thing, but we're all headed to health. Got it? So let's just start with this. First of all, my wife and I are definitely on a mission. This lady right here, this is the team right here. This is the couple. And again, the reason that we're so successful, the reason that we've done all the crazy things is probably because of my wife and her big vision. I just get to come around for the ride and have a good time. I want to show you kind of why we do this. So people come to us all the time. There's a girl that came to us. She went from 126 pounds down to 82 pounds, right? What will do that in a matter of weeks? Ulcerative colitis, right? So she comes to us, death's door. There's almost nothing left of her. She's exhausted everything medically. I think they were talking about some surgeries and whatever else. So this is her. In her hands right there, there are 4 different medications. One is $1,000 a month, right? And so the reason she has those in her hands is because as of that day, she was off of all of her medications. She went from 82 pounds back to 125 pounds. All of her ulcerative colitis is healed. She's doing amazing, but she could not heal it. And guess, I want you to hear this. She couldn't heal it unless she found the root cause of what was going on. And that's what this is all about. Got it? And so I want you guys to be able to sail over this thing this fall and continue on. But I can tell you, the only way you do that is you really get down to the bottom of it. Everybody with me? First of all, do you know that your digestive system has more neurons in it than your entire spinal cord and autonomic nervous system? Think about that. It's why it's called its own brain, basically. Okay? Did you know that if you look at the receptors, that your stomach has just as many opioid receptors as your brain does, which means when people get addicted to opioids, your stomach can be just as or more addicted to opioids than your brain. Wow. Did you know that? If you actually unwind this thing out, does anybody know how long it is? It's it's over 9 meters, and if you open it up, it actually covers an entire tennis court. That's how much surface area you have in it. Did you know that the number of bacteria in your gut, if you're healthy, outnumber the cells in your body 10 to 1? Did you also know the amount of DNA in your bacteria outnumber the DNA in your whole body by 100 times? Yeah, it's pretty good. Watch this. Your gut influences all parts of your health. 70% of your immune system is also in your gut. It's called gut-associated lymphoid tissue, which means the mass, 70% of the mass of your immune system is in your gut, which means if this isn't healthy, that's not healthy either. In fact, it affects not only that, it affects your mood. It affects all of it. In fact, here's a crazy study. It's kind of gross, so bear with me. I apologize. But if you take the feces of a very clinically depressed person, put it in a little bit of sterile water in a blender, and then put that in an enema bag, and then put that into your colon with an enema, you will actually become depressed. You can actually take some feces from a healthy, active, excited, energetic, optimistic person, do the same thing, and guess what? The person gets happy. I'm not even joking you right now. They're actually talking about fecal transplants as a way of treating emotional issues. Now, as much as you think that's gross, guess which has less side effects? Fecal transplants or antidepressants? A lot less. Now, here's the thing. I told my wife when I read that study, I'm like, people should pay me for my... like, this is valuable stuff right here. Why am I flushing this all the time? Just saying, I'm missing $1 in here somewhere. So, but what is the microbiome? Some of you guests are like, who is this guy? This is crazy. I want to apologize for the poop jokes tonight. But listen, so what is the gut microbiome? Microbiome is just a funny word for talking about your gut bacteria and the balance of that. Now, people talk about good and bad. Are there bad bacteria? Yes. But here's the thing. To have a good microbiome, you actually have to have a certain amount of those too. So it's not like there's good and bad. It's just that sometimes the ones that we don't want to get out of order go in that magnitude of where there's way too many of them, right? So we actually have an imbalance of those, and that's what we call dysbiosis. Everybody say dysbiosis, right? So it's just unbalanced. But the microbiome is used for a lot of things. First of all, it's used to absorb nutrients. You have macronutrients like proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, then you have micronutrients that gets into all the vitamins and minerals and stuff. Just so you know, it is impossible for you to actually absorb micronutrients from your gut unless you have bacteria there. Think about that, which is why the last time that you took antibiotics, you actually were deficient in nutrients because you killed your bacteria counts and you cannot absorb nutrients the way that you should. It's an important thing. The other thing, again, I said 70% of your gut's in the gut-associated lymphocytic tissue. But watch this. Another one is, what are the signs of poor gut health? Now, as soon as I say that, the biggest thing is you guys go gut motility. So you're talking about too often or too less, right? But it's not. There's way more signs to this than you can imagine. Just looking at what happens when you actually have like bacterial yeast parasitic overgrowth, and we're going to talk about what that is. But I mean, teeth grinding. Did you know that your gut health can be associated with teeth grinding? That's pretty crazy, right? Skin problems, we see a lot of that, not just with teenagers, but all across the board. Abdominal pain, chronic pain. That's interesting for a chiropractor to know about, right? But just having gut issues causes chronic issues. Why? Because it increases your systemic inflammation. Poor memory, depression, headaches, anxiety, changes in appetite, fatigue, weakness, chronic issues. One thing that I saw a lot of in the last 8 months is, I just did a consult 2 weeks ago. A lady called and she has gone through something with a family member who, since the start of COVID, between social distancing and all the hand sanitizers and the toxic stuff, I believe it's wiped out her entire microbiome, and now she's actually gone psychotic. She hears voices, she thinks people are after her, and I'm seeing this more than I've ever seen ever, that people are breaking free from reality because their gut is upset. And here's the thing, what if I took a person like that to a psychologist? Do you think they're going to look at their gut? No. Are they going to do anything for it? No, they're going to give them a psych med, and they're never going to fix this. Here's the other thing. Up to 90% of serotonin, your feel-good hormone, is made, guess where? In your gut. A large part of dopamine, which is another important neurotransmitter. So a lot of things can happen. So causes. Now I'm going to go through a lot of these. First of all, I'm going to tell you right now the biggest cause is the fact that we're sitting in the greatest toxic experiment that I've ever seen in 23 years. And it might get worse because we're just not to the elections yet. I'm not going to go there, but the point is that there's some craziness in the water. But poor nutrition, pharmaceuticals, antibacterials for sure, stress. But what kind of stress? Emotional stress, physical stress, and even spiritual stress, chemical stress, right? There's lots of stresses. Chiropractically, we talk about physical stress that causes things to the spine, like the subluxation is a type of stress, but also just toxic exposure in general. Bleach, a lot of people are using lots of bleaches right now, has digoxin in it, which is on the top 10 list of all cancer-causing chemicals. Here's the other thing, just stress in general. Back in 2008, 2009, when they had the recession, right? Just the stress that people were under increased the amount of cancer diagnosis in the United States by 260,000. So over 250,000 more cancer diagnosis just from the stress related to a downturn in the economy. And do you think this is better or worse than that? This is 3 times at the very least what it is. So here's the other thing. It's not about right now. It's not about just this fall. It's about the next 5 years of your life and making sure that you don't get caught off guard. Got it? So let's make sure we get to it. So the one on the left, this is a healthy gut. Everybody look at this blue area right there. See that blue area? This is a strong mucosal barrier. Now, this is the lining of your gut, okay? This would be the microvilli. Got it? Everybody with me? Yeah. Everything's covered in a layer of mucus. That's why if you ever see a camera scope of the colon, right, the colonoscopy, it looks really shiny. That is a mucosal layer, okay? Now, a healthy colon is a very shiny, mucousy surface because you want things to go just like this, right? Now, this is so a good bacteria count helps with keeping a good, strong mucosal layer. When I start getting out of bounds with the dysbiosis, remember, right? So out of balance, what happens is I start actually eating through part of this, and this protects the microvilli. And what ends up happening is I start creating an inflammation, that's what this is, inflammation of the gut lining and a separation of what we call the gap cell junctions. And when I have separation here, rather than actually have them go through the microvilli like this, they end up going through the gap junctions, and I actually have food particles that actually get caught into the bloodstream and then picked up by immune cells, which now start to cause everything from autoimmunity to full-blown intestinal inflammation, now systemic inflammation, and then we start decreasing serotonin and neurotransmitter production, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yes? Does everybody kind of follow suit on it? This is how it happens. It doesn't always have to equal leaky gut, but leaky gut is generally experienced by every single person in the room at some time in your life. That's how widespread this thing is, okay? Because people just don't know what's happening. Who here just in the last 5 years have had like 3-4 days where you literally had diarrhea for several days and it just kind of went away? Everybody's like, no one wants to raise their hand. Like, I didn't have diarrhea. I don't know what you're talking about. That was probably him. But we've all had some of that. Well, guess what that was? It was when your gut was inflamed, rather than have it sit there and then suck the water out, which is one of the reasons, the great reason the colon is there to help you with hydration, because it was inflamed, it tries to get something out of it immediately, so it evacuates itself, right? So I have like a completely watery stool, or I have really, really loose stool, not formed, or somewhere above that in the digestive tract I start having issues and I have slow motility, so now I'm constipated, yes? Or you start having a really dehydrated bowel. Here we had the one where you have to like strain, you feel like you're about to have a baby, that kind of thing. All those different types of stools mean something. If you want to know what that is, go back and watch my talk called Poop-tastic, how to read your poop. So literally it tells you what's going on internally. Got it? I know, I'm telling you I like poop. I'm just telling you, that's how we're talking about it. Okay, so leaky gut, watch this, plus inflammation over time equals disease. What kind of disease? All kind of disease. If you just look, everything from food sensitivities, right? Who here has a food sensitivity now that you didn't used to have before? Anybody else? like nobody's raising, I don't know what he's talking about, right? But this is how this happens. It's also, you can reverse it too. Sinus and mouth issues. Some people that have chronic sinus issues, a lot of times it's the gut. Joints, again, you guys, how important is this to know about? Adrenal fatigue. Anybody else feel like they got to drink coffee or Cokes or caffeines or things like this? Like, huge part of this. Anxiety, depression, ADHD, acne, rosacea, psoriasis, again, thyroid. Now, why would this be on here? Because this is autoimmune. Autoimmune thyroid is actually the number 1 cause of thyroid issues. It's actually one of the top things right now going on with women. And so I won't go into that tonight, but what else? So let's talk about this. So how does this work as far as a microbiome in the gut? First of all, the further you go down, from duodenum, jejunum, ileum, and colon, that's just kind of how that works. The colon's at the end, right? This is right before the train leaves the station at the end, right? You actually have an increase in the amount of bacteria. Why? Because we have to be breaking that thing down. The problem with it is, between all the things that cause it, what do we say? Stress, antimicrobials, toxic exposure, antibiotic use, pain medication can cause it, a bunch of stuff. We start having what's called small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And again, I'm going to go fast tonight. I'm going to get a little technical. I'm not going to go deep PhD, so just kind of hit the surface with me like this, okay? So all you got to know is this. What happens is I start getting a higher count of bacteria at the end, and it actually moves up towards the small intestine, so my bacteria actually is overgrowing where it should be. Got it? If you have this, very telltale symptoms is you can eat something and you start to hear it a lot. So anybody have a loud stomach? Yeah? Any loud stomachs in here? Very, very common, because it starts to, because there's bacteria all the way up. Also, if you have a tendency to eat certain foods, there's 1 or 2 foods that you eat, and you end up having a bowel movement really, really fast, and it's diarrhea, it's generally that bacterial overgrowth too. If you occasionally have cramping, you don't have to have this, but that's if it's really bad. You can have cramping as well. This is all related to that, because also the more bacteria, the further you have up, the more likely you are to have fermentation, which creates gas, and that'll cause this like this and cramping. Don't look at your wife or husband if somebody else has gas next to you. Just checking to see who I need to check. So I'm just checking. But everybody kind of follow me a little bit? Okay, so we're still into what this is, what it causes. This is the test. So I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to show you an actual test. I'm going to show you my wife's test. So this is the metabolics test. Now, when I first got this, it saved my life. I've told you some of this. One of the reasons you have an availability to take this test is because my wife and I each got this done. It was $1,599. It was almost $1,600 for one test, and you had to do a retest. So imagine what that's like. And we both did it. So I'm like, is there a car that comes with this? Or so, but it saved my life, totally saved my life, because it showed me what I needed to take and what areas were broken down. When I was a kid, I'm a card-carrying Cherokee for Cherokee Nation, so I got free health care. Well, it's a good thing, right? But guess what? I got all the free drugs that I wanted, and my mom and dad for acne gave me antibiotics every day for 7 years. They didn't know any better. Doctors just did that. As long as I took them, my face was a little better. What do you think that did to my gut for 7 years? And I'm still not over it. I've still got things I've got to deal with. Sometimes I've still got some places on my face. It's just some of the things I have to deal with because I went through that. But this shows a lot of exacting things. So these tests are extremely, extremely specific for the metabolic processes. I'm going to blow this one up right here. Toxicity and gastrointestinal stress. Do you see that? Toxicity, gastrointestinal stress. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this intestinal bacteria overgrowth. See that? Dysbiosis. Now watch this. I'm going to show you Dr. Kimberly's. Now Dr. Kimberly, this is hers from March 25th, right? So she had these, actually what she had last time was this, and this. So the green ones, she had issues with last time. And then she actually went through the protocol and they healed. So now they're green. But what happened is between then and at that point, she started picking up gastrointestinal stress. And I can tell you what happened. We had a jug of tea that we had a dinner here. Remember some of the dinners we did here? Some of you guys were at these. And the restaurant brought a jug of tea, like a milk jug. And no one drank. It was 3/4 still full, so I brought it home. So maybe we're just going to drink it at the house. Well, it stayed there for like a week and a half. Oh my God. I didn't say anything. I was meaning to throw it away, and she drank it. And she was like, and she had diarrhea. She threw up. She had full-blown food poisoning from a thing of tea. So when she took this, she knew it was going to be bad, and it really was off the chart bad. So she had intestinal bacterial overgrowth really bad. So she knew if you had to fix this, she also had to fix the energy production. Why? Because if your gut is bad, you can't actually produce CoQ10 for the mitochondria, and all of a sudden she felt like she needed green tea every day. Anybody feel like that before? Now watch this. So she went from March, she did everything right. Now watch this. This is her test results. So she healed the intestinal flora. She's balanced it completely out. She healed this right here, which is stress hormone imbalance, which is from what? Serotonin and dopamine from the gut, right? So she healed that one. And all of a sudden, sulfate just dropped out. And the reason, get this now, the only thing that she's been exposed to is everywhere she goes, my kid's school, the store, everywhere she goes, guess what's everywhere? Every time she touches the cart at the grocery store, you can't even touch one of those without them going, wait a second.
Yeah.
I'm like, I actually stopped the guy. I was like, I want mine without, please. Yeah. Grabbed it and just went on like this. This is a real reason why we did this talk, is because, listen, my wife, she takes all the vitamins, yes? She does everything right. She does, again, some of you guys do nobody does more than my wife. And I feel like I can tell you that I do pretty good. I don't do as good as my wife does. My wife's like, did you do that? Did you do this? Did you do this? But if she can actually fall apart in this environment, this is why it was important for me to get to you guys to understand you guys are going to have to, again, I want you guys to feel blessed by having the information. If I tell you have to do something, you usually push back. You get to do stuff before you actually get caught off guard, okay? This is huge, huge, huge. So metabolic tests, do you have to do metabolic tests in here? No. But what I absolutely want every single person to do is I want you to get the kit, the bundle tonight, so you have that for the next month, that you get your gut together before this whole flu season hits within about a month. Got it? Everybody? I cannot stress that enough, okay? Now, so let's just go into it. So this is why we're talking, because the hand washing and all the soaps, I did a bunch of research on triclosan and tricarbon, but these each have multiple studies. You can find this anywhere. You guys can Google this. I had to go to different places because I love the further down the rabbit hole I go, the more I enjoy it. But I found stuff that nobody's even known existed, that every time that you actually use a Purell or whatever, every time that you use one of these, every single time it's additive in your body, and it adds up over a lifetime. Yeah. And every single time that you do it, it's actually a cytotoxic liver cell killer. So it actually kills your liver cells. And here's the other thing, it causes free radical oxidation. Like when you cut an apple and leave it out, what does it turn? Brown. Why? Because it oxidizes, right? So you end up having a free radical oxidative species that is now looking for a place to actually have a reaction to make you older or cause disease or damage DNA. Right? Now, every single time you use it. Now, am I saying that we should just never bathe again? No, I'm saying be clean, but I'm hoping you guys washed your hands in the bathroom before COVID, right? Everybody with me? Yeah. The problem with it is when this stuff got crazy, we started actually really seeing, watch this, the biggest portion of your liver detox abilities to go down. Now, I'm going to get, the most technical I'm going to get tonight is right now. So buckle your technical seatbelts, your nerdy t-shirts on. But here we go. You ready? So the way this works is this. This is an oversimplification, but I really like this picture. You've got phase 1, phase 2, and then it goes out one of these different ways. Okay? Now, in phase 1, I want you to look here. It says required nutrients. Bunch of them. This is not an exhaustive list. But it goes through B vitamins, folic acid, glutathione, antioxidants, carotenoids, vitamin E, vitamin C. Basically, the first step is it's got to grab the toxic material and start to not denature it, but actually take the oxidative species down, right? It makes it larger, okay? Then it gets into this. Step 2 requires amino acids. That's kind of important, don't you think? And then sulfurated phytochemicals, which a lot of those are found in cruciferous vegetables, because I know everybody here eats cruciferous vegetables all week long, like you should. Good. Now watch, here's the thing. Watch this. You can't get those nutrients from those foods unless you have a good gut. Now watch this. Here's the other thing. Is it true, yes or no, even before COVID, is our exposure to toxic things increasing every year? Yes. So what that means is, you think that you're getting enough. I did a talk one time called Food is Not Enough, And I didn't, because I have people go, well, listen, the whole supplement thing, you can get what you need just if you eat healthy enough. If you believe that, you're wrong. And I hate to have a contention with you, but I've done the research. Right now, there's just not as much nutrients in food, and your need for nutrients is higher than ever before, because for your ability to actually detox, it wipes out large portions of the nutrients that you're getting in, and because your microbiome is getting worse, you're not getting the nutrients in that you need. So some of you guys could eat 4,000 pounds of organic broccoli, but you're not going to get what one person got is 3 pieces of broccoli. You get that? It's not the same. Every person digests and absorbs differently. It's not what you eat or digest, it's what you absorb. It's one reason that this season is a huge, huge time to make sure you're getting the right nutrients. Can I get an amen from somebody? Amen. Now, the one big one right here, okay? This starts getting into sulfurated phytochemicals. Now, this is going to talk about stuff like glutathione. You may have heard of glutathione before. It's what's a granddaddy of all antioxidants. Here's another one. Cytochrome P450. Now there's your most technical thing you're going to get tonight, okay? But here we go, watch this, I'm going to show you. So cytochrome P450 basically conjugates, or basically just, it deactivates this radical oxidative species, okay? What you're going to find is, addition to glutathione, what's it do? Increases the size and polarity so they can be dragged out of the system, okay? Through all your detox pathways, okay? The way that it does that is every single molecule that comes in has to take a molecule of antioxidant, okay? So it means every single one that you take in, you lose an antioxidant molecule. It's almost like you have a bank account, but guess what? This bank account doesn't give you an email that says that your account's at 0. You can keep writing checks, and there's no symptoms either. Guess how you find out? You find out about 5 years later when there's neoplasm. There's like an abnormal breast tissue lump or a colon polyp or some kind of something like this. Everybody with me? Yeah. This is why this is so important. Here's the other thing. I was talking to some people today. It wasn't just you, Sharon, but it was a father, and his whole family's here. He's got 5 kids, and he was talking about he just started a supplement. He goes, I don't really feel any different. And it's not like, take B vitamins, you're like, whoa, man, it's like a zip. I'm good. It's like caffeine or something. I feel great with B vitamins. But with antioxidants, you don't get to feel any different. You're like, well, I hope this is not crappy vitamins that I just bought. Like, you just don't feel any different. But I can tell you what, I know the difference, and I've done the research. Go the long haul with me. That Got it? There is a difference, and it does make a difference. So guys, please, 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 what you got to understand is this. Every single time that you have an exposure, you're using the oxygenate. Let me give you an example, okay? At work, got a bunch of stuff. At home, you got a bunch of stuff. And it's not like you actually set out, but before you even left your house this morning to go to work, ladies, you used makeup, or you had deodorant, or you had shampoo, or conditioner, or lotions for your skin, or whatever. And guess what? Every single one of those has, most likely, unless you're doing really, really organic, a bunch of stuff in it. And then watch this. You get to work, and then what? It's like OSHA just took over your place, right? And you're like, and you got your fogger in the next thing over, and you got Susie, she's like Lysol everywhere like this. And what ends up happening is it starts you down the road of chronic illness. And some of you guys are like, I never had allergies till I moved to Texas, or I never had this until I went to this. And it wasn't necessarily the location, it was your exposure just hit right there. It was a perfect storm. Got it? This is how it happens, but it's not about just toxicity. It's about what? It's about the gut. It's about the gut. It's so, so big. Okay, now, I don't want to get too crazy. We're going to start getting into solutions. Everybody want solutions now? Okay, so here's the solutions. Starve the critters, kill the offended critters, and then rebuild the gut flora. Now, what some of you guys have done, some of you guys have starved the critters. This is advanced plan. Some of you guys have done like no-carb diets, like the Candida diet. Anybody done the Candida diet? So you starve it. Don't do anything with sugar. Like get rid of anything sugary because it'll feed Candida, right? Great, but you didn't kill it. So the very first time you had anything at all that was a carb or a sugar, what happened? Well, I mean, like you just you just blew up like a blimp, or you started having cramping or diarrhea or something like that. Why? It's because the critters were still there. They were waiting, and one little molecule of carb went and just took off, right? Because you didn't what? You didn't kill them, right? So you can starve them, but you got to kill them too. And I'm going to go through some products here. This is the advanced plan. So guests, you guys haven't known it yet. I'm not going to spend a long time. You can look at, so we have 170 plus free videos on YouTube. And you just go to Herb Family Wellness, and there's a lot of them on there. So Nutrition 101 goes through Advanced Plan and Core Plan. I'll briefly go through it tonight. But that's how you starve the critters. How you kill the critters is Max GI. Okay, and I'm going to talk about that here in a second. That's how you kill it. And then how you rebuild the gut flora is the L-glutamate and the bone broth protein, and then also the advanced plan, giving it the right things. So it actually decreases the gut lining inflammation. Okay, and I'll go through that briefly here. But this is how we're going to do it nutritionally. So nutritionally, there's 3 things I want you to do. I want you to avoid, replenish, supplement. Everybody say it. Avoid, replenish, supplement. One more time. Avoid, replenish, supplement. Okay, let's start with avoid. Okay, so what does avoid look like? What am I avoiding? Okay. So what you have to avoid are things that actually the food itself causes dysbiosis. What are some of the major foods that cause dysbiosis? Sugar, number 1. Feeds candida, and it feeds fungus and all kind of molds and all kind of stuff that actually could be there too. So sugar is the number 1. Another one, some people don't think about this, but bad fats. And they're so easy to get, even in organic stuff. They have like organic canola oil, not good. Oxidative oils of any kinds, like fried foods. Like when you're talking about the gut, bad oils jack your gut up bad. It's not good. Everybody with me on that? Like bad oils. And some of you guys think that you're not getting them. When I did my test, whatever, it's like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was, I was doing perfect. My first test came out perfect, and that meant a lot to me because I worked my butt off. I took like 33 pills at a time, like this. And I finally got it back and was perfect. And then I retested about 90 days later, which by the way, it's not $15.99. The retest is now for you guys because we actually have power as a group. We have 650,000 people that go through our offices every week. And so they gave us a deal. Now your cost is $3.99. How about that? Which now means my cost is now $3.99. Thank you, Lord Jesus. But I did my retest, and my retest showed that my oxidative fats looked like I've been eating fried chicken every day. My wife, I'm not even joking, ask my wife. She looked at it and she goes, I'm like, babe, I'm not even, like French fries every day. So I'm like, I'm not, I promise. Do you know what I was really enjoying a lot of? Lattes. And hot coffee with heavy cream milk exposed to heat and light. And I put it in a Yeti and I would drink on it for several hours. It would sit there and it would oxidize the fats, and it would basically make it look like I was eating French fries. And some of you guys don't know that you're getting stuff. So how do you avoid stuff? You have to, if you're going to do cream in your coffee, it's small amounts and drink it quick so it doesn't oxidize. Here's the other thing. What else should you avoid? Well, lots of just high carb items, right? Some of you guys have come to believe that you, or understand that you are gluten intolerant, okay, or sensitive. Generally, you're not gluten intolerant or gluten sensitive. You're actually pesticide, glyphosate sensitive. Everybody with me? Actually, can I just tell you, 99% of gluten sensitivity is not gluten. It's actually glyphosate. It's Agent Orange basically, or something like that, okay? And it's on almost all grains. And so you guys gotta be really careful. So that's the thing to avoid. Here's another thing to avoid. Artificial sweeteners. Any Diet Cokers here, or like muscle building proteins that have like sucralose or phenylalanine or any of these things. If you have even one serving of a toxic artificial sweetener, it has the opportunity to wipe out 50% of the bacteria in your gut. Better than some antibiotics, actually. One serving. So you drink one Diet Coke, it'll wipe you out. This is also why, if you actually look at the amount of artificial sweeteners, the toxic artificial sweeteners that you actually consume, either in drinks or in foods, it's directly proportional to how much weight you gain. But wait, I think if I was doing diet stuff, I would want to lose weight, right? But why do people that do diet stuff gain weight? It's because they destroy what?
The good stuff.
Their bacteria, and it causes people to gain weight. Got it? So again, what do you have to avoid? Artificial sweeteners, the bad stuff, bad fats, sugar, and then high carb items. That's the majority. And then just a lot of frankenfood stuff, a lot of preservatives now, a lot of MSGs, things like this. Now, how do you replenish? That's what the advanced plan is all about. Okay, some of you guys, if you have anything, I want you to do advanced plan, not core plan. I'll talk about that briefly. But that's what this gut replenish is. It's a lot of healthy fats. Why would healthy fats be really good for your gut? Come on. The lining, it helps settle the lining down, the inflammation in the lining. Also, that mucosal layer, guess what? It helps to rebuild that. Got it? Okay. What does that look like? So Core Plan, for you guys that don't have any symptoms at all, you don't have any issues, we put you on Core Plan. And Core Plan just means it's really healthy eating. If you guys are guests and you don't know what that is, there's a book up front called Align Your Health. So when you get your products tonight, just ask them for Align Your Health book. They'll give you one of those too. It goes through both plans. But this one, the only difference is it's got whole grains and ancient grains. Both are what? Organic, not sprayed with what? Pesticides, exactly. Okay, now the difference between a Core Plan and Advanced Plan is exactly the same, no grains and only low sugar fruits and berries. Let me tell you why. Because high fructose sugar, so just fruit sugar, or high glycemic index foods of any kind maintain and drive inflammation. Everybody say inflammation. Inflammation. And they keep it high. If I'm doing that and I already have gut dysbiosis, I already have inflammation in my gut whether I have symptoms or not. So if you're eating higher carbohydrate or just like fruit, like, oh, but watermelon's healthy, melons are healthy, oranges are healthy. Yeah, they're healthy, but guess what? They also feed bacteria counts that you don't want and inflammation. So some of you guys need to do Advanced Plan for 30, 60, 90 days and then try and go back to Core Plan. Got it? That's how we do that. Now, let's do this. So what is it? It's avoid, replenish, and then what? Supplement. So let's talk about some nutraceuticals. I don't necessarily like that name. But Max GI, the reason this is so critically important, and there's nothing in the entire market like this, it has a blend of probiotics, everybody say blend, that is second to none. And there's a lot of research on what you put in there and the amounts that you put in there so that it actually colonizes the way it should. It's very easy to buy a bunch of cheap stuff and just put a bunch of cheap stuff in there and then say it's got 50 billion in there because it's all the cheapest stuff. When you have the right blend, it costs more, right? Now, it's still a cheap product compared to everybody else, but it's the right blend. Everybody say blend. Also in there is what's called lysosome. Everybody say lysosome. Lysosome is an enzyme that actually pokes holes in the cell wall of bad bacteria and it pops them, it kills them. It's not an antibiotic, but it actually kills bacteria in a higher count range of the bad bacteria, and this is actually how you kill the critters. Got it? This is a good thing. This will save your bacon. This is good stuff right here, okay? It's got other things to it, but Pro-L-glutamine, it's actually the amino acid fuel source that your intestines use to actually cause gut motility, but it actually causes a soothing and decrease inflammation to the wall, the lining of the colon, and it helps you soothe and rebuild the mucosal lining. L-glutamine. Can you see how this is, like you just cannot do this without it. We have people come in who've had like their part of their colon removed or colon cancer or whatever else. These products are a non-negotiable. And some of you guys have some dysbiosis, you don't even know it. This is how you do it. Got it? Here's the other thing. Because you've already been going down since March, guess who needs this? Everybody in the room. And this is an easy way to do it. Now next, Pure Path Protein. This is made from bone broth. Okay? What's the one thing your grandma said that you needed when you weren't feeling good? Chicken soup. But she didn't get it from a can. Nope. She didn't actually, guess how she, say it. She boiled a chicken. She boiled the bones and the cartilage and the meat and the fat. Why? Because it got all the amino acids that was needed, right, to help your gut, which is 70% of your immune system, get up. I mean, have you not heard this? Like chicken soup is really, really, like really good for you, right? But if you want to make your own, just do that. Don't buy the product. But I don't think most of you guys are going to boil chickens or beef stock bones, right? So do you like, yeah, I'm coming to your house. Give me your address. But this is also why it's very, very easily digestible. So some of you guys that have leaky gut, this will actually, it's a way to get a complete amino acid and not continue the inflammation cycle through leaky gut. Got it? So like again, really far advanced stage people, this is what we give them. Really easy to do. And there's vanilla, there's chocolate, you can do either one. Do shakes. Probiotic 50B. Now this is a relatively new product over the last 2 years. We were not going to put out some kind of jerky thing. This is the blend of probiotics that you need. This is the re-inoculate. Got it? I'm going to tell you that for most of you guys that have not been taking a probiotic, you need to, this is non-negotiable. This is when you start. Right now. You didn't know that you need it as bad as you do, but I'm telling you that you do. Time to start, okay? Also, I would suggest you don't take this every day for the rest of your life. I'm trying to talk you out of this product because about every 3 to 6 months, you need to switch to some other thing. Now, I'm not going to put 4 different products together. You go buy somebody else's. But the reason it's important to change every once in a while is because you've got to change the stuff that the seed that you're throwing. Got it? Make sense? But I want you to start with this if you're not taking it, okay? And then last but not least, that's the bundle, okay? Now, one thing that I said is the thing that takes the free radical oxidative stress, the free radical molecules, the things that are turning the apples brown, basically, right? One thing that does that is the glutathione and the antioxidant precursors, right? That's what this is, okay? This is the detox system. It increases glutathione like I've never seen anything. Now, mindset, again, stress is important. Huge. Guys, I can't tell you. Now, here's the thing. I pastored a church for 3.5 years. I was a head pastor. I love it. It's why I love to talk for a long time. About Jesus, really. But here's the thing. You guys, this is no different to me than my church. So I see you guys start getting stressed, and I get stressed because you guys are stressed. I can't handle it. I can't handle people speaking death and fear into you. Like the idea that you guys would watch a lot of news, excuse my French, it just pisses me off. Like, because all it does is just drive more stress into you. And I'm like, my people that I love should not be in fear. You have nothing to be scared of. God's got this. Can I get an amen from that? But so that's why I started GNN, Good News Network, on Herb Family Friends. If you're not on GNN, get on GNN. Raise your hand if you've watched GNN. So it's a lot of guys in the room. Yeah, so amen for GNN. I did it every single day for like 3.5, 4 months. Now I do it 4 days a week. And you know why I do it? I do it for one reason, to give you hope, to give you encouragement, give you a laugh, because I'm just kind of goofy that way. Tell some jokes. But also give you a lot of good, because I want you to see the world around you is an awesome place and a great place. A very fast way, the fastest way to change your mindset, the fastest way to change your state is physiology. The fastest way to change your physiology is movement. So guess what? If you're dealing with stress right now, the fastest way to change it, the fastest way to get out of the blues, the fastest way to get to stop feeling depressed or anxious or whatever else is go kick your, butt in the gym or on a treadmill or just walking. Just even if you're hurting and there's joints that hurt, just go walk for 30 minutes. It's the fastest way to change your state. Got it? I'm going to tell you, I really like Max T3. Okay, Max T3 is the way. It's like home to me. It's like high intensity interval training, right? So it only takes 12 minutes. Here's the thing: if you tell me that you don't have 12 minutes a day to invest in yourself, I'm going to say let's talk about your schedule. Because you have a toxic schedule, that's part of the problem, okay? But 12 minutes, you can handle 12 minutes. And if you can't get up earlier than that, tell me, I'll come by your house and knock on your window, right? Am I joking? No. 12 minutes. And every patient here has opportunity to get the Max T3 program for free. And so if you're a patient and you haven't started that, and you don't know, ask us, we'll show you how to get it, okay? Core chiropractic. Now here's the thing, that lady that started the whole thing off with that video of her throwing her $1,000 drugs away like this, the only reason that we found that is because of this one thing. She'd done everything else. She'd changed her diet, she'd done acupuncture, she'd done detoxification, she's done colon work with colon specialists that were natural specialist things. The reason that she wasn't getting well is because she had a subluxation right here and in her neck that was causing her organs to not get nerve supply. And nobody was checking that. And I'm telling you, the spine is the lifeline to you guys. And I know it sounds like I'm trying to sell you on this. Listen, if your nervous system was in your right arm, I wouldn't think about anything but your right arm. Like, I'm not a spine doctor, I'm a nervous system doctor. And the problem with it is the world around us has been convinced that chiropractic is for some kind of manipulative pain management thing, which it is not. It is 9 out of 10 chiropractors take your insurance, go crack your back, they hopefully get some pain relief and do some massage therapy and some physical therapy. That's not chiropractic. That's not the way it started. It's not what it is. Even though the schools have produced 90% of chiropractors that believe that way now, but raise your hand if you've seen miracles in my office that have seemed like really weird, right? Like I always tell the story of Denise. Denise, for 67 years, I won't tell you how old she is, but for 67 years, she's been deaf in her right ear. She's been adjusted by many, many chiropractors over the years, completely deaf in her right ear still. She comes in, first couple of adjustments, it was Dr. Kimberly, I'd love to take the credit, but I can't. Actually, it's Dr. God on that. But she adjusted her first bone so specifically, because not one of you has the same spine as somebody else. And you need exacting what you need. And as soon as she got exactly what she needed to remove the interference to her nerve supply, that power that equalizes and balances everything, she got her hearing completely back after 67 years of deafness. Is there a difference between one chiropractor and another? Is there a difference between one chiropractic adjustment and another?
Yes.
Right? I talked to a guy today, I did a consult via text, and he said he had a friend who was trying to get here. She had vertigo, Meniere's disease, and he goes, have you ever seen him? I was like, well, every week. And so literally, he goes, I texted her to that, and she texted me back this, and he sent me the, and she goes, I tried chiropractic and it didn't what?
Work.
It didn't work. Why didn't it work? Listen to me. Chiropractic works 100% of the time, every single time. It's just that sometimes the chiropractor doesn't necessarily know how to remove the interference. And I'm even talking about myself to some degree, okay? So because your body works, period. Got it? It knows how to heal. So this is a huge component of this. What controls it? And the power that God put there. And I'm going to show you something pretty crazy. This is the guy that came in. It doesn't look like this is that bad an x-ray, okay? Is this spine leaning this way or this way? It's leaning. Is it a huge scoliosis? No. Would the average chiropractor or medical doctor or DO say anything about that? No, but is it leaning?
Yeah.
It is leaning. So if it's leaning, is it putting stress on the nerve supply?
Yes.
Yes, left there for weeks and months and years, of course it is. Now, wherever you have a curve, this is from the side view of his low back, wherever you have a curve, it protects the joints. So this is straight, so it's destroying that disc right there. Do you see that? Why? Is it genetics? Is it bad luck? Is it age? No. It's just that all of his weight is sitting on that. Now watch, he's seen umpteen million chiropractors and doesn't have any value for chiropractors, but watch this. Comes in here, watch this. Corrective care. Can you see how that is straight? Yeah. Right? Now watch this. Now watch this straight right here. Pull forward so it's got a curve again. Now what's happening to the disc? Do you see it?
Separation. Yep.
It's opening up. Do you guys? Oh, you can't do that. Oh, yes, you can. You just have to correct the spine. There's a difference. This is also why, what do I ask you to do at home every day, patients?
Do your wobbles.
Yeah, I love it. Sandy, yes. She goes like this. I'm like, yep, that's exactly right there. Also do what?
Your neck.
Your traction. And listen, everybody here has an exercise home rehab program. Is that true?
Yes.
Every single patient? Yes. Why? Because it's just like a dentist. If a dentist doesn't show you how to brush your teeth and floss, that's practice management. Get it? Right? The idea is to get you healthy and get you out. So this is why guests, if you have not had your spine checked, guess what's going to start today? We're going to get you scheduled. And again, it's going to cost you almost nothing, okay? But here's some of the warning signs. I'm not going to go through this tonight, but everybody knows if you got a symptom, you have to lose a lot of function before you actually get a symptom. In fact, if you'd like to know, the research in 1999 Journal of Neurology says you have to lose 40% function, be almost half dead in a tissue, cell, or organ before you have your first symptom. Guys, that's why you take care of health now and not when your symptoms start. It's why you start taking the right vitamins now before your symptoms start. It's why you take care of your spine now instead of before your symptoms start. Next, action steps. What does this look like? So what do the action steps look like moving forward, okay? Action steps moving forward. I want every single person to be committed to the next 3 months. Got it? I don't care what happens after 90 days. I do care. But it's like, but the next 90 days, I want you guys to committed to being and doing what it takes to make sure that you're really, really healthy. Got it? For the next month, I want every single person here taking those products in that bundle literally for a month. Got it? You're gonna get the mucosal layer of your colon and your digestive tract as thick as it can be before the fall viruses and stuff move through, okay? Also, you're gonna make sure that you're exercising regularly. Some of you guys will do gym, some of you guys will do home stuff, some of you guys do max D3, some of you guys will just walk 30 minutes, and that's okay. But I want you committed to doing something. Got it? Next thing I want you to do is I want you to really work on your nutrition. And I didn't say you're going to be legalistic and you're going to beat yourself up, which some of you guys are your worst critics. What you are going to do is this, you're going to do better, okay? It's not about perfection, it's about direction. And we talk about this all the time. It's not about perfection, it's about direction. I want you to avoid, I want you to renew, and then I want you, or replenish, and I want you to what? Supplement, okay? What does that look like? You're going to stay away from things that will mess your gut up, which messes your immune system up. I don't want any person here or any person that watches this later online, I don't want any person to have to get hit this fall and feel like, man, how did I get hit so hard? And so, listen to me, some people you're going to know that are young people, people who look really healthy, had it all together, it's going to be scary, it's going to be crazy, right? And guess what they're going to blame it on? It's the COVID, and that's why everybody needs to get vaccinated. It's not true. We created this through using masks way like 10 hours a day. Some of these people working at the grocery store, all the hand sanitizers, the cleaners. We created this, and so we have to clean it up. A vaccine's not going to fix it. Last but not least, this, Herb Family Friends. If you're on Facebook, go to Herb Family Friends, become part of Herb Family Friends. Now, to be part of Herb Family Friends, you have to answer some questions. Not just anybody can be part of that, because we don't want a bunch of trolls or weird people on there. One of the reasons we do that is because I do a lot of stuff on there. I say a lot of fun things. I share a lot of stuff that's just out of my heart. I'm transparent. And as soon as an outsider started coming after me, every one of you guys would want to go to battle for me. And I don't want you to feel like you have to go to battle in one more place. I want it to be a place that's really relaxing and you just get encouraged, okay? So if you want to be part of that, jump in there, answer a couple questions, and you can watch GNN with me Monday through Thursday, okay? Make sense?
Yeah.
All right, good. And last but not least, let me do this. I want to take a couple, 2-3 questions. Ask me some questions because this really gets good when we ask. Yes?
I have a question on Max GI.
Okay, Max GI.
Have to take it exactly 15 minutes before?
No.
I can
Just
take it
before.
As
Further.
long as before.
Yeah. Yeah. So she said taking Max GI, that's the stuff that kills the critters. Remember that? Lysosome and the probiotic blend. It kills the critters. When do you take it? You take it before you eat. She says, do you have to take it exactly 15 minutes before you eat? No, you can take it further before that. You can take it 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I mean, it doesn't, like you, just make sure you're taking it within that 45-minute window, probably somewhere in there. That, yeah, as long as you get it in there first, what it's doing is it's actually getting into the stomach and into the jejunum and duodenum before you eat. That's what you want. So you kind of set the stuff up. Yeah.
So on the bundle with the detoxifier, did you create a sheet that kind of like tells you when to take the product or how many hours between
Perfect.
taking the next
So he said, as far as taking the products that are part of the bundle, is there a sheet that says this is how you do it? The answer is not. There's not a sheet, but on every single product it tells you exactly. It just, I mean, it just says take 2 pills before a meal, or take it first thing in the morning, or take with food, like that. So just let me just say this, guys, listen up. The detox system, very important that you hear me on this. It is a very, very powerful product. It's not to joke around with. There's 2 products in one. There's two bottles. One is cell detox, one is body detox. You're going to take the cell detox first thing in the morning, right when you get up, okay? And then the body is activated charcoal, psyllium husk, and other things that actually help pull everything out of the bowel so it doesn't recirculate. You take that last thing at night. The problem is some of you guys take medications right when you go to bed. If you take a medication with body detox, you will not get any medication because it's activated charcoal, the same thing you take in an emergency room if you've actually had taken a drug, and it will not get any of that drug into your system at all. It'll drag that and every other toxin in your bowels out. And so you don't take body detox with any medications. Got it?
What about calm? Can you do it with calm?
My wife actually said she did the research on that, and you can take it. In fact, my wife takes her body detox with Calm every night. So that's when we take it. Calm is magnesium. Yeah.
Okay, if you're on like keto and you're eating
Mhm.
keto and 11%,
Yep.
you still take the cell detox in the morning?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Young-
Still take it. Now you can watch this. You can if you're eating. She said if you're.
Taking it 30 minutes before our first meal.
It's fine. You can do that. You can take it mid-morning.
Because the problem is,
As long as it's more on an empty stomach. Like if you had an 11 o'clock meal and your next one was at 7, right? Or whatever, go 2 hours, you've emptied your stomach, go ahead and take the cell detox then. You can take it in the middle of the day. It has to be on an empty stomach though.
yeah, it's on.
It's good. It's perfect. It's got it. Like she was talking about ketogenic stuff and whatever else. I lost 10 pounds from Monday last week ago today till now, just doing ketogenic fasting and intermittent fasting. So like Sunday I did 1 meal, just a regular meal, late breakfast around 10, and then Sunday I did a shake, ketogenic shake at 7 a.m. and then I didn't eat again till this morning. But I was just doing intermittent fasting and some hard workouts all week long, and I lost 10 pounds in a week. I just wanted to get a little leaner. Some of you guys noticed, some of you guys didn't.
Looking good, looking good.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do this. Hey guys, I'm going to pray it up. I will stay for some questions, but I don't want to keep you too long. If you guys would just bow your heads, let's pray it up. Father, we love you and praise you. I thank you so much, Father, for truth. And I thank you, God, that there was never an emergency meeting of the Holy Trinity, that you got this. That we don't have to worry about the fall. We don't have to worry about the politics or riots or anything else, that you've got it. And God, I thank you in advance, Father, that you have already made a perfect way for healing for every single person in the room. The Father, as we take baby steps towards you, whether it's the nutritional supplements that we're taking or the guests starting their journey with us, getting their spines checked out or whatever else, that every single person, God, we take these baby steps towards you tonight, that you take great God-sized steps towards us, our health, and making us absolute witnesses that you never made junk. So God, we love you and we praise you. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.